Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah OJ, and firstly, before we get into the review, just a little disclaimer, I'm not feeling the best. I'm literally just recovering from a cold, so my voice might still be a little bit, you know, so just a fair warning. So I'm gonna do the best I can. Lego. Real Housewives of Potomac season 8 episode 1. So the episode kind of starts off on where we left off in season 7. Remember, we had the reunion, and around the same time was when Robyn and Giselle spilt Robyn's tea on their podcast Reasonably Shady about Juan. And they had conveniently already filmed the reunion before then, so we didn't get to really discuss it. So it starts with all of that, and then for any of you that have been paying attention to the blogs, which is most people that are watching the show, I'm sure, there was also pictures that came out of Juan and another woman, I believe. So this woman is an ex-co-worker of his. They were seen together in a laundromat, and they were then seen again, same woman, in a nail salon. So we are basically starting the episode off discussing all that shit with Robyn and her roommate Juan. Robyn is already starting off with stupidity. She said that she didn't expect the shitstorm that occurred from spilling her tea on Reasonably Shady. Bitch, yes you did. You are on a huge reality television show on Bravo. You know, all season long, we have been begging you to say something about the reality of your relationship with Juan, and you always made out like no matter how much that man appears that he hates you, you are a regular, loved up, divorced / engaged to be married couple who did end up getting married at the end of the season. So how can you sit there and say you didn't expect what happened to happen? Yes, you did. You were trying to get ahead of the story because you knew it was going to come out some way, somehow. So you knew it was going to be a shitstorm either way, so you decided to get ahead of it. But whatever, fine. Try and fool us then. Juan is doubling down on his bullshit story. So I'm sure everybody remembers when Robyn went on Watch What Happens Live, and that was just after all of this came about, and Andy was questioning her about what one side of the story was, and she basically said that the woman was in a hotel room and forgot her wallet at home because apparently she was visiting some guy that she was seeing who played for the Ravens, I believe, and for whatever reason didn't call her mum, didn't call the guy that she was seeing that she came to see. She called Juan to come and pay her hotel bill when she realized she forgot her wallet at home. And Juan, the good Samaritan that he is, just went all the way to Canada to pay this hotel bill. Or actually, it wasn't in Canada. Where was this? I think it was Virginia or somewhere. I think the woman is from Canada and this took place in Virginia. Correct me if I'm wrong, because when they kept saying Canada, I was confused because I thought it was in Virginia or somewhere like that, but I could be wrong. Either way, it's quite a distance from where Juan lives, so he's going quite far out of his way to travel to this hotel to pay this stranger's hotel bill, right? So Juan is still doubling down on that story, and he's insisting that his issue is that he's just too nice. He's just too much of a good Samaritan, you guys. This guy is just too much of an angel. That's what the problem is. This is Juan Dixon we're talking about. Juan Dixon. This man is not nice. He's mean. Like, he can't even pretend that he likes his wife even a little bit on camera. So please spare me with the, oh, I'm just so nice bullshit. I just try and befriend everybody. It's literally one of my weaknesses that I have to work on. My niceness. Like, go somewhere with this. Are you being serious? So at that point, Robyn asked him, like, are you sure you didn't smash? Because basically you were at this hotel. At this point, didn't you try and slide? And he was like, did you see her? That really irritated me. He's basically trying to insinuate this chick is ugly. And I was just like, men fuck unattractive women all the time. So I don't even know what you're trying to imply. But cool, whatever. Doesn't absolve you of any guilt by saying that she's unattractive. I've even got to look this woman up because from what I remember the TikTokers making their accounts of it. I don't remember her being unattractive, but I'm going to have to look at her again. And I bet you anything she's fine. Regarding the co-worker, one said, oh, well, she's an attractive woman, so obviously people are going to see her out with a guy and think that something's going on. So I was like, oh, okay, so she's worthy of having sex with, okay. And oh my God, the secondhand embarrassment I felt as soon as the first thing he said was, oh yeah, she's an attractive woman. Didn't even really deny anything. And the Robyn was like, yeah, people say we look alike. I was cringing so hard for Robyn. I was like, oh, ew. Oh my God, you were embarrassed that, like, the first thing he said was, yeah, she's fine though. Then you had to insert yourself. Oh, the humiliation. The humiliation. This could not be my husband. Like, what? This guy, we'll go on to it when the women eventually discuss this further and further. But in my opinion, I'm in agreement with the rest of the women. This is clearly some kind of arrangement. Like, you can't possibly tell me that one is cheating and he's this shameless and this ruthless about discussing it with Robyn. There's no way. Like, even though he's lying, do you know what I mean? Because in my opinion, he's not even really lying. He's lying for the sake of the cameras are here, so let's fake the funk. But I think Robyn knows exactly what's going on. I think behind closed doors, he doesn't even lie to her. They know exactly what the deal is. And this is just their way of covering it up. Because this can't possibly be his best performance. It can't be. It cannot be. I don't know, maybe because they've been together so long. They've been together since they were like in high school, right? Maybe at this point he's just tired. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe those type of relationships where they just be cheating for that long, they're just tired of lying at that point and they don't even try anymore. I don't know, but I just feel like, come on, I can't be your wife and this is your best attempt at lying to me. Surely not. But anyway. But hey, let's go with the pretense that Robyn is in the dark or deluding herself, whichever one. And she really is under the impression that Juan is telling the truth when he clearly isn't. He's in the laundromat with this woman. By the way, it's so weird saying laundromat, me being from the UK. Here we say laundrette, but that's neither here nor there. Juan was in the laundromat with this woman. He was in the nail salon. These are locations that you go with your boo. You don't really go to these type of places with some random chick you're smashing. This is Juan's girlfriend, essentially, because he's helping her do laundry. He's in the nail salon just chewing the fat with her as she does her nails. That's his girl. Do you know what I mean? So for her to really sit here with a straight face and say, oh, that's just his homegirl, that's just his friend, that's what they do. No, bitch. No, no, especially men like Juan. Does Juan seem like the type of guy that has such healthy platonic friendships with women that he just be going to the nail salon with them and just chatting shit like, yeah, hey, let's hang out? No, and he doesn't give me the vibe of a metrosexual man who is proudly getting a manicure either. So I'm sorry, Robyn, I'm not buying what you're selling. They also briefly touched on the lawsuit that led to Juan losing his job. So what happened, if you guys remember, is that there was a college basketball player who Juan was coaching who was sending sexual messages with somebody who turned out to be the head coach. I believe the student didn't know it was the head coach until a little bit later down the line, something like that. It was a catfish, I think. And he reported it to Juan, but Juan weren't trying to pay attention. He weren't really listening. And then he ended up filing charges, the student. So then the head coach got fired, and I think Juan did as well. I think from what I remember, that's what happened. But if I got a couple details wrong, those are the essentials. But yeah, they didn't really touch on that too much because obviously it's a whole legal situation, so they can't talk about it too much. They only brought it up really just to be like, Juan is innocent. So basically, all of this shit is just happening to Juan. He's just the most unlucky innocent person that ever walked the planet, essentially. None of this shit is his fault. He didn't do anything. All of it is fabrication and lies. That's what they want us to think anyway. We briefly see Karen, Wendy, and Candiace having dinner as well. So we didn't actually get into any of these three women's backstories too much this episode. This was honestly mainly about Robyn and Juan. But we did see them discuss everything that went down. And Karen basically mentioned how it's really funny that Robyn was saying everyone is going to see who you really are, a bullshitter, and then this started to transpire. So essentially, like Candiace said, Robyn was projecting because it was really you who is a bullshitter, and really we were going to see who you really are, although we really already knew Robyn was a liar. We already knew that Juan was cheating on her. This is the thing about Robyn. She looks really stupid. Even though it's Juan that is doing all of these things, it would be much better on her if she would just be honest about it. Because if I'm Robyn, I refuse to look like a dickhead on camera for a man who can't even be bothered to cheat on me and try and hide it. Like, there's no way, I'm sorry. If you're out here doing all of that, I will be up on this big platform crying and acting like the victim and talking to everybody about how horrible of a cheater my husband is. That's the direction we're going in. We are absolutely not sitting here and saying that Juan is this perfect Mother Teresa who drives across the country to random women's hotel rooms to pay their bill that he doesn't know. Like, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. Like I said earlier, Wendy, Karen, and Candiace are pretty convinced that Robyn and Juan have some kind of arrangement. And that is what it's looking like. At least I hope so, because I don't even like Robyn, but it's so... I won't say I feel sorry for her watching this, but I'm just looking at her like, oh, this is so pitiful. Like, oh my god, Robyn, even for you, I didn't think I'd feel this. Oh, do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like we're almost at empathy, almost, if it weren't for the fact that she has worked so hard to throw dirt on the other women's names and their marriages, what they did to Candiace last season, what she's always been doing to Karen, the way she's been coming at Wendy, the way they did her and Eddie. If it weren't for everything that she had done where it comes to other people's relationships, I'd have a smidgen of sympathy for her. But because she's the type of person to have all of this shit going on behind closed doors and just be completely deflecting and throwing everybody else under the bus, it's like, I can't feel sorry for you, because you had your moment to be vulnerable and transparent about your situation and for us all to be empathetic for you, but you chose to fuck other people over instead. So it's like, sorry, but leave that man though. That is what I would say. So we see Ashley, who has now moved into her new house worth a nice couple mil. Good for Ashley. And this is the house that is also in Michael's name. But she says that Michael's only stayed over like 3 or 4 times, something like that. I mean, that's all well and good, but I wouldn't want my ex-husband staying over at all unless we're still fucking. So I know she's trying to say that like it's not a big deal, but it's like, it's essentially, it should just be your house and you shouldn't have to put up with him staying any time, but fine, whatever. It's a nice big house, so I guess in the grand scheme of things, she's like, that's very, very small compromise to make for all of this house, you know? The sons are looking cute though, Dean and the other one, I forgot his name, but they're looking adorable. There was a point where one of them was pulling the other one up onto the counter and I was so scared. I was yelling Ashley like she was in the room and I know this bitch and everything, because I was so scared that one of the boys was going to drop the other one, and I was so confused because I was like, is there a nanny somewhere? Like, what's going on? It just seems like a lot going on in that house at the moment. Ashley says that her and Michael's divorce is not final just yet. They're still working out the terms, etc, etc. Honestly, I really don't care about Michael and Ashley at this point. Let them do whatever it is they're gonna do. I don't really care. But essentially, she winning. She got a nice big house and she's probably not in a hurry to settle this divorce anytime soon anyway, because she's not gonna get any alimony. So, she might as well long it out for as long as possible. Giselle calls her and they talk about Robyn and Juan, and Giselle basically tells her that she wants to have a conversation with Robyn, kind of like an intervention, I guess, because she's really worried about her and her mental health, and essentially she's looking crazy out here in these streets. And you know that shit is really sticky when Giselle is separating from the opinion of the other green-eyed bandit. Like, Giselle is basically refusing to look as stupid as Robyn. So essentially they want to come together and shake her and be like, bitch, he's making you look like a fool, don't you see it? But Ashley feels a little bit funny about it because she's tried to be honest with Robyn about her relationship in the past and didn't exactly work out well for her. You know, when Robyn showed up to her restaurant and started wagging her finger in her face and doing all that. Yeah, it didn't really work out so well for Ashley in the past, so she's a little bit hesitant this time around, which I do get. Ashley asked Giselle what Robyn said about the girl in the nail salon and in the laundrette. And Giselle says that Juan is always feeling sorry for people and he's always befriending people because he's such a nice guy. And Ashley belly laughs, like I did when I first heard it. See, this is the thing. If Robyn is gonna lie, she at least has to come up with a good lie. I don't care if that's what Juan told her. Come up with a better lie, because you look stupid out here. I'm gonna keep saying that, because I just can't get over how dumb she looks. Like, Juan is grumpy and mean. And everybody here knows it. So you look even more foolish repeating this stupid lie to everybody about how he's just so guilty of being too friendly, and he's just so friendly with everybody. He feels sorry for people, so he just becomes their friend. Juan Dixon is not that guy. And if he is guilty of being too friendly, Robyn, it's for the pissoir, I promise you. So yeah, basically they exit this conversation agreeing that they're going to have this conversation with Robyn and see how it goes. Giselle has a new man. They did briefly mention this man on the reunion last year. So his name is Jason. He's actually on Winter House, one of Bravo's other shows, which I have not watched. You guys let me know if that show is any good. I may watch it, since I have watched Summer House Martha's Vineyard. I watched the first season and I did enjoy it. So it got me intrigued about the others. So I might watch it, but I don't want to waste my time because I really don't see that much conversation about it. So let me know if it's any good. Jason is 37 years old, so he's 16 years younger than Giselle. It seems to be going well. Giselle's having fun with him. Her daughters seem to like him. Seems good in that department. Maybe Giselle will be nicer this season now that she's getting some dick on the regular. I won't hold my breath though. So on to Mia and Gordon. Mia and Gordon, as we know, have downsized due to the drama with their businesses. So Gordon's businesses were taken away from him by his family, his other brothers, I believe. Mia did mention on the reunion last season that they are basically living off of their savings. So to be honest, no matter how much that is a scary feeling. Like, you're not bringing in any income. So this could all run out like in a few months, you know, if you're lucky, because they got kids and they be living lavishly. Well, not so lavishly anymore, which is what they basically tell us. They've gone from a 10 or 11,000 square foot home to 1,500, which Mia basically says was the size of her closet space in her old house. So I know it definitely looks like, oh, rich people problems must be nice, right? Which it really does. But at the same time, regardless of how you're living, a huge downsize is a huge downsize. So of course you start to be grateful to God that you have a house at all. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not gonna act like, oh God, what a brat. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna act like I probably wouldn't be feeling similarly to Mia if I was in her position. So it is what it is. But basically they're just painting a clearer picture of why Mia left Gordon. Not that we really needed it. It seems that the only person who wasn't clear on Mia's motives was Gordon. I'm not sure why. Mia never acted like somebody who wasn't with him for the money. So I'm very confused as to why he's confused. Gordon and Mia both seem confused as to why his family have done this to him, which was so interesting to me because Gordon then went on to say that all they said was that I don't listen. Like, I don't understand. How could you just kick off a CEO that hasn't done anything wrong? The irony of you saying that they told you that you don't listen to them, but you're still sitting here confused as to why you are no longer the CEO. Clearly you don't listen, because I find it very hard to believe that your brothers, your family, would have made such a drastic decision without telling you beforehand and at the time of doing it what the issue is. I don't believe that. There's no way that they just ripped it away from you and didn't tell you why. So the fact that all you had to take away was this small little thing in your ear about something about I don't listen. Yeah, I think that that's probably the exact reason why you're in this position. You probably were just thinking about it like it was your own business and they didn't have a say and was just doing whatever you wanted. And whenever they tried to have discussions with you or give their own 2 cents and things like that, you just ignored them. That's my theory anyway, judging off of what they've told us. They also talked about how Gordon went through a depression and was just sitting around the sofa for a couple of months, which you would do if you just, you know, lost your businesses and your assets and your money. I would definitely be a bit depressed for a little while, so I didn't really blame Gordon for that. But Mia had her periods where she was empathetic, but then she was like, get the fuck off your ass, you bum. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just not that sympathetic other days, which again, I get in a way, because I feel like Mia being the mother was probably a little bit more active and just a bit more accepting of, well, this happened, let's just get on with it. Men tend to wallow a little bit more because, you know, they have the luxury of usually not being the more active parent when it comes to children. I'm gonna guess anyway, could be wrong. And also he is older than Mia, so yeah, Mia's probably definitely doing more around the house. But anyway, there was also some whisperings about how there might have been some dodgy business going on at the time. Like there might have been a little bit of embezzlement and that's why they kicked him off the businesses. So Mia wasn't 100% convinced that there wasn't, even after they'd done an audit. Apparently she was still questioning Gordon about it. And she said, well, you know, I gotta protect my assets, I gotta protect my kids. And this was such an interesting scene to me because I don't like Mia. And I heavily disagreed with nearly everything she said and did last season. But this scene, I was like, yeah, yep, I'm with you. Yep, I get it. Like everything she said, I was like, I understand. Like it was so weird. I fully got it. Like, yeah, of course you have to get in your ass a little bit just to make sure, because at the end of the day, if you're good at what you're doing, you might know how to hide what you're doing from an audit, you know? So I have to kind of try and make sure that there's really no shit that can hit the fan and come back on me, because at the end of the day, one of us got to take care of these kids, do you know what I mean? I don't want to lose my assets because you were doing something you weren't supposed to do. So I get it. But then in classic Mia fashion, she had to lie about something. She had to bring the bullshit sometime. Just a small thing, but she was saying how she wasn't drinking. And it just kills me. I love when people on reality shows try and lie and come to us with bullshit about something. And the people they're in the scene with are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, just bring them back to reality. Because she was talking about how she wasn't drinking. And Gordon was like, what are you talking about? Yes, you are. Like, that just made me laugh so much. She was just like, no, like, I think you think I'm not drinking because you offered me a cocktail on the beach the other day. And I was like, no, Gordon, I'm not drinking. She tried to bring it back. And Gordon was like, yeah, but then you said you'd have a glass of red wine, so you're still drinking. It was so funny to me. She was like, yeah, but you know, I'm not drinking hard liquors. Like, okay, me, whatever. Like, bet you anything we'll be seeing her drink hard liquor by episode 3. Oh, Gordon exposed her real quick, boy. That was funny. Chris and Candiace having a little cute picnic in the park. And they're talking about Candiace and her career as an artist. So Candiace is talking about how she's lucky to have a label that helps with marketing, all of that stuff. But a lot of the money for touring still depends on the artist. So she easily spent about 6 figures on touring last year, which was quite surprising to me. I was under the impression that if you have a label, that would help with nearly everything financially, because at the end of the day, most artists like that are starting out don't have money. So Candiace is fortunate to have some money put away. So how would you do that if you don't? Maybe it's to avoid them taking it out of her contract. I would say that because obviously a lot of new artists, they end up making no money because they end up taking everything out of their pay. So maybe that's why. But it still seems like Candiace is in that same position where she's struggling to make a profit, because she essentially says she's not really making anything off of ticket sales and merch. So this year she needs to go bigger with the look, with the stage and everything, basically, to try and put herself out there more and make more money. I didn't really understand why those things would in turn translate to more sales. I mean, obviously it would help having a little bit more drama to your look, but I think what she really needs to focus on is the marketing itself, because I feel like at the moment Candiace is marketed as a real housewife who happens to do music on the side. But she, if you watch the show and actually care about Candiace, she really is serious about her music career, but it doesn't really translate marketing wise. And I get it, because at the end of the day, she still has to be a housewife. That is still her main job, which is making the most money. So she does have to kind of give her focus to that. But at the same time, I do feel like she's relying too heavily on Bravo as the only marketing tool. I do think she needs to have a team or a publicist that really push the boat out where it comes to marketing her as an artist and pushing her music more, because I know so many people who watch Real Housewives of Potomac and not one person I spoke to has listened to Candiace's album, and all these people listen to music and like actively look for new music. So I just think it's really interesting that people that know her, watch the show and know what she's doing, don't have it in their mind to search for her music. I think it is also because Housewives in the past has not been that platform where anybody takes a music career seriously. Like, yeah, there's housewives that put out singles, but it's only just because they're on Real Housewives and some people have approached them and they think, yeah, sure, let's do this because why not? Not doing anything else, you know? No one's really actively tackled it as a music career other than the people like Candy, who was already an artist before they went on the show. Portia did have a moment where she did release a single, but she wasn't really serious about it. She didn't really push it. Like, I didn't even remember Portia talking about it on the show, if I'm honest with you. I think it was something she did and then the moment passed and she just wasn't interested anymore. We're not even going to talk about Kim. Definitely not going to entertain Kim Zolciak as a serious artist. Don't care how much money her songs made. But anyway, Candiace in that sense is a little bit different in what we're used to seeing when it comes to Real Housewives mixing music. But yeah, that's why I think marketing might be the place she needs to focus on more, as where it comes to making more money out of ticket sales and merch. And also push your merch then. Like, I haven't seen her wear merch once. I could be wrong about that, but I don't remember seeing her wear anything like that. So yeah, she needs to do that too if she wants to make money off of merch. But yeah, I'm not an expert or anything. This is just my opinion from watching the show and actually listening to her music, 'cause I really like Deep Space. There's a few bops on there that I really like. Like, Drive Back is not even the best song on there. I Love Benefits. Cause a Scene is a good song too. Is It Enough? She got really good songs on there. The one with Tracy Braxton, Rest in Peace. There's good music on there. She's not like the most amazing, incredible R&B singer, but she's got some bops on there. She could do well. So I think it's a shame that she's not as far as she would like to be at this stage, but I think that could be changed. Maybe she needs to sit down with Candy as well. I'm surprised she hasn't yet. I think Candy could help her a lot. She also needs to collaborate with other R&B singers as well, because on Deep Space she only had Tracy Braxton as a collab, which was a great collab. It was a good song that they did together, but I think that she needs to work with more R&B singers, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be the Scissors and the Summer Walkers and the Kalanis, because honestly I don't think their sounds would really mix. But I do think that her sound and her songs would work with the more seasoned R&B singers. Like, I could see her doing something with like a Keisha Cole or Ashanti. They're both still doing music, you know, so I think that they would work really well. Candiace and Chris also start talking about all the bullshit that happened last year with what Giselle was saying about him, and then Candiace mentions Robyn defending Chris against this bullshit, but now Candiace is wondering if Robyn only did that so that nobody would bring up her shit about Juan, which yeah, probably. For some reason, regardless, Candiace seems very eager to mend things with Robyn, and I really don't know why. I just really don't think Robyn is capable of being anybody's good friend on there but Giselle and Charisse. And I know that it's a little bit difficult for us to have a clear perspective when we're looking at it from the lens of watching this reality show. At the end of the day, we don't see their real conversations and their real bonding moments off the show. So I'm sure that there's good reasons why Candiace, from her perspective, might think that Robyn is her true friend. That girl ain't your real friend. Like, I don't know. And for me personally, I can just tell, like, the way Robyn is so protective of Charisse and Giselle, that's how she moves with her friends. So when you see her behaving a little bit wishy-washy with other people, it should be an indicator to you that that's not your real friend like that. That's your acquaintance, that's your girl that you can have fun with in public and with a group of people, cool, but that's not your friend like that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that Candiace has to kind of wake up and be aware of that at this point, because she even saw for herself that she was happy to let this whole thing with Chris ride out for the whole season, knowing that she had her own real shit going on that she could have brought up anytime to diffuse it, and she didn't. So yeah, Candiace, baby girl, you gotta wake up and smell the coffee. That is not your friend. So Charisse, Giselle and Ashley host this intervention conversation at Giselle's house. Firstly, Giselle's house looks much nicer, but it's not all the way done still. She's got this really, really dangerous walkway thing that is just a lawsuit waiting to happen. She really needs to get some steps in there. I agree with Ashley, because this shit can go bad really quickly. You saw what happened on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. For anyone that doesn't watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, there's this girl on there called Monica, who I love. My favorite new cast member in a long time across all franchises. And she had a situation in Angie's house where she fell down her railing in her basement because she didn't have a banister or a railing, so she didn't have anything to hold on to, and she fell down the stairs and completely fucked up her legs up here. And from what I'm seeing on social media, she's been basically saying, bitch, I'ma sue you. And that is kind of how it goes, especially in America. It's a very litigious place. So if you have an accident in somebody's home and it is the result of your carelessness, something like not having a railway or a banister, you can sue that person. So Giselle, get some steps up in that bitch. Also, bravo, why is Charisse back? We keep telling you, we don't want to see that woman. That lady has absolutely no reason to be hanging around here. What is the point of Charisse being on camera so much? She's not promoting anything. She's not doing anything. I genuinely think she just hangs around these ladies because she's bored. She ain't got anything else to do. So she's like, fuck it, might as well be on camera. Like, it's just so weird. Like, what's the point in her presence? Why is she always here? The three of them all sit down and talk before Robyn gets there. And they're trying to figure out why Robyn doesn't care that her husband is embarrassing the fuck out of her. Is it delusion? Is it numbness? Who knows? Robyn arrives, and then Ashley kicks things off by basically saying that she believed her when she said the story about the woman in Canada was bullshit, but then when she saw the situation with the laundromat and the nail salon, things just seemed a bit fishier, and she wondered if basically she told her the whole truth. Robyn says that she's known about Juan's friendship with Brie, so this wasn't an issue to her because she already knew that they were friends, and that he wouldn't be stupid enough to be caught being affectionate with another woman in public. Giselle was me. Giselle was like, but he was. So what do you mean? Robyn is basically trying to say like, oh, he wasn't actually hugging up on her or anything. They were just doing laundry together. Like, what the fuck does it matter, Robyn? Like, to be honest, I don't even know if that's true. I forgot to Google, because I meant to Google the pictures before I did this review and I forgot. I'm sure that in those pictures, it looked like Juan was hugging up on her from behind. I could be wrong. I'm gonna Google it. But honestly, either way, it doesn't even really matter whether he was affectionate with a woman or not. Why was he there in the first place? What business does he have in the laundromat with a woman that is not his wife or his girlfriend? Seriously. Like I said, the location matters because you don't generally meet your friends at the laundromat. Do you know what I mean? Like, what would be the reason for him to be there unless they were already in her home and then they just happen to do some laundry because they live together or because they're in that type of a relationship where they're fucking a lot and they're spending a lot of time together. So it would be natural for him to go with her to the laundromat because he's already in her house all the time. Like, really think about it. Like, you don't just go to the laundromat with people. It's not the club. Do you know what I mean? So how are you really trying to sit here and act like there's an innocent reason for him to be there with her? Robyn then says, my joy has been stolen, but it's not Juan's fault. Excuse me, who else's fault is it then? Did you steal your own joy? Whose fault is it? Then she proceeds to try and act like it's the fault of the media and the blogs and the people online who are commenting on what Juan is doing. And the other women basically try and make her see that this is all happening as a result of Juan's actions. So no matter which way you slice it, it is because of Juan. What the fuck are you talking about? Robyn even echoed a version of Juan's bullshit statement that he applied to the woman in Canada earlier and said, oh, if Brie were fat and ugly, like, would you lot really think this is something to care about? And they were like, yes, 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 it would be. Why do you keep thinking that this is only a situation or something to be concerned about if the woman is attractive? It just really shows what a bird Robyn is. I can't believe that in their minds, Robyn and Juan, that they think if a woman is unattractive, this is just a non-factor. Like, this is nothing to discuss here because obviously I'm not fucking her. Like, ugly women don't get dick all the time. Like, what are you talking about? And regardless, it really doesn't matter. That's an inappropriate situation to be in, because let's even try and entertain the concept that one might not be lying and he really isn't sleeping with this woman. We know he is, but let's act like he isn't. This is still something you don't do as a married man. If a woman that is your platonic friend is calling you up and saying, hey, I'm just about to do some clothes in the laundromat, do you want to come with me and join me? And you know that you've just been in a situation where people are already discussing that you're cheating on your wife, you know that is not something to do. The nail salon as well. So please spare me with the, oh, if she was ugly, none of this would be a conversation. Yes, it would, because nobody else thinks that ugly women aren't fucking niggas. Like, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, it just annoyed me when they said that. Charisse, Giselle, and Ashley also share their own experiences with Eddie, Jamal, and Michael. I think that's what Charisse's ex-husband name is, Eddie, right? Yeah, so I really like that they shared their experiences to kind of show Robyn that we're coming from a place of love. We genuinely love you and are concerned because you look like an idiot, like you look like a fool, and this is not coming from a place of judgment or trying to make you feel more stupid, because we genuinely understand what you're going through. So I really like that they shared their own experiences, and I actually really felt bad for Charisse. I guess Charisse was a little bit useful for something here in this conversation, because I did actually feel really bad for her, the way she broke down a little bit when she was talking about Eddie, and then they brought us back to season 1 where she was sharing what was going down, but she didn't actually say that it was cheating and stuff like that. So you can tell, like, it's hard, man. Like, when you're in a situation where your partner is consistently cheating on you, I can only imagine the emotional roller coaster it would have you on, you know, questioning your, like, whether you've done something to cause it, your own self-worth, and, you know, like, do you question, am I looking attractive, or have I done something in this relationship? You know, like, you go through that phase, and you go through anger with them. Like, it's just a constant, like, I can imagine it takes you up and down, and it's horrible. So it really made me feel for Charisse, and I think that the women handled it perfectly. There wasn't anything they could have said or done better. Robyn just wasn't listening. Like, Robyn was just being hard-headed and just determined to defend Juan. And I really liked how Ashley said that it feels like a defend Juan Dixon campaign, because that's exactly what it feels like. It's almost like she won't entertain the idea that he's lying. Like, I think deep down she knows. She's not that dumb. Like, I think she just knows how to lie to herself well. I don't think Robyn is that slow. She doesn't buy what Juan is selling, but it's almost like she's so scared of losing him, she won't even entertain the idea of this all being lies. I don't know what it is about Juan. I don't know if it's anything really to do with Juan. My theory is that she's so attached to this man. She's been with him since she was, what, 17, as a young girl. I personally think she's more scared of the idea of living her life without him, of stepping away from this relationship, because who is she really without this relationship? She's been in some form of this relationship, whether it's them being together, them being divorced but still living together and still raising the kids together. Like, regardless of where their marriage status has been, they've always been some form of a unit, whether dysfunctional or not. And I personally think she's so scared of separating herself from that, because that's been her life for as long as she can remember, and she can't even contemplate facing life as a new version of herself, if that makes any sense. That's my theory, because honestly, that man doesn't even treat her well enough on camera for me to believe that he's so sweet to her behind closed doors, that what they have is so good that she's so scared of losing it. I don't think it's really about Juan and their relationship. I think it's more about that and her own personal issues and insecurities. But anyway, I'm sure there'll be more opportunities to delve a little bit deeper into that as the season continues. I also noticed that when Giselle was talking about Jamal, they zoomed in on her hand, and she had this big gold hand on her ring finger. So I think they were trying to, like, allude to the fact that, like, have you really let go, bitch, because you're wearing your engagement ring? But I couldn't really tell if that was her engagement ring or not, because it had a W on it. I was like, well, Jamal, Giselle, like, what's the W for? Unless his first name is William or something, I don't know. But I was a little bit confused at that, so if anyone got what they were trying to do there, let me know. I like that Charisse was honest as well and told Robyn that she thought that the woman in Canada was bullshit too, because let's please not try and act like any of this makes any sense. And that's when Robyn said that thing about, oh, it's such a crazy story that it must be true, and they were just looking at her like, girl, like, really? Are you that easy to lie to? Oh my god. Like, you could just tell Giselle was like, I can't believe she's falling for this. Like, I can't believe she's that easy to trick. Like, seriously, Robyn, this is so, like, lying 101. You make up a batshit crazy story so you think, well, it must be true because it's so fucking crazy. No, bitch, it's a lie. A crazy fucking lie. And the part where Robyn said that she made him accountable for the woman in Canada, because either way he shouldn't have been communicating with her, and she said, yeah, I was yelling at him, I told him to get the fuck out, and Giselle said, so did he get out? And she was like, no. I was like, Just stop, cut the cameras. Cut the cameras, cut the cameras. But yeah, they were trying their hardest to make it sink in, but it wasn't working. Robyn was just falling on deaf ears. And I think Giselle was right. Eventually, she's just gonna explode. Because all of this, for what? For what? Her sons are pretty much almost grown. What is the need to hold on to this relationship? Especially for a man that's not even nice to you. Even in the midst of this conversation, he even said on camera, yeah, that bitch bad, innit? Like, that nigga don't like you. Leave him. Anyway, I've said it enough. That's the end of the episode. I thought the episode was a pretty good start to the season. I think it's going to be good. Probably not jaw-dropping good like we've had in the past, but I think it's going to be good. Definitely entertaining. I also think it will be like season 5. I think it was season 5 with Moniece and Candiace having the fight. I essentially think it's going to be like that in the sense that the fight that we've already seen play out on social media is going to be the main event of the season. They didn't really show it in the beginning part, so it seems they're probably saving that for the second part of the season. I think another big part of this season is going to be this weird new girl, Nneka, who decides to come out of the gate thirsty to start beef with Wendy. And what we saw coming up next episode really, really annoyed me. Don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily think the two Nigerian girls need to bond or be friends. It would be nice, but it's not by force. But there's something weird about Nneka coming for Wendy in this way. Like her telling Ashley that Wendy is Osu, I have a real problem with that. So I'm Nigerian, but I'm Yoruba, so I didn't really know much about this. So I still had to Google it and speak to my friends a little bit that are Igbo just to have a little bit of context to it. So Osu is an outdated caste system. It's an ancient practice in Igbo land that during that time discouraged social interactions and marriage within that group of people. They were also looked at as inferior people, but they are Igbo people. And they were forced to create these communities because they were cast out. But it is an ancient practice, so people don't really practice it anymore. So Nneka's talking shit, and I really feel some type of way about Ashley regurgitating this to Wendy on camera in 2023 when she knows she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She has no knowledge of Nigerian cultures or customs whatsoever. Even me, like I just said, I'm Nigerian, and because I'm Yoruba, I don't have much knowledge of it, so even I wouldn't feel comfortable talking about it on my own platform, my own small platform that I'm sitting on here, before Googling it and speaking to people that have a lot more knowledge of it. So the fact that Ashley, with her ignorant bird self, sat there on camera and was spouting this bullshit from this woman. Ashley's not an idiot. She knew that Nneka was planting a seed to try and deliver to Wendy to start some shit with her. You know that much. And instead of you to use your senses and say, you know what, because I really don't know what she's talking about, I'm not going to repeat that on camera because it might be ignorant as hell and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about at the end of the day. So I'm just going to stay out of that one, and maybe I'll have a conversation with Wendy off camera and be like, hey, she talked to me about this. I'm not really sure what it means, but what's going on here? But for her to, that just, it made me itch. It made me itch. It made me just want to, just something about that really aggravated me. But her saying this about Wendy, she's trying to clown her, and the way she's going about it is so, to me, it's so ew. It just makes me so uncomfortable. And we know that it's not just this. She's also later on in the season gonna go on to say that Wendy's mum does judge voodoo, for anyone who doesn't know. And there's just something about the things this girl is doing that's rubbing me the wrong way. I get it. She's clearly thirsty and is willing to say anything to be seen as a new cast member on this reality show. But there's just some things I believe you shouldn't do. Like, there's some barriers that you don't cross. Like, it's one thing to feed this information to a group of women that you know don't fuck with Wendy and you don't even know her, as far as I know. But when you add in the nuance of saying that her mum does voodoo amongst a group of African-American women, knowing that some African-Americans are very ignorant where it comes to speaking on our cultures, and yes, I'm sorry, I have to say it. I know this is obviously widely an African-American audience, but that's why I say some, because obviously you can't generalize. But yes, there are some African-Americans that are very ignorant when it comes to speaking on our cultures. So yeah, I really feel some type of way about that, and I almost look at Nneka as a traitor that she'd go that far. Like, this is the only other Nigerian woman in the cast, and you would really go below the belt like that before you even sit down with this babe. Like, it just really speaks volumes to who she is. Like, I already don't fuck with her, and we haven't even met her yet. That's how I feel. That makes me so uncomfortable. Like, I knew it was gonna go to Judge eventually, because obviously we saw the trailer, but I kind of, even though I didn't really like it then, I reserved judgment because I was like, we don't know what happened. We just seen the trailer. So who's to say what Wendy might have said before, or what happened beforehand? You never know. So you can't really judge based off the trailer. But then when I'm seeing that before she even really has met Wendy properly, she's saying this bullshit to Ashley, and she'd have no other reason to be saying these type of things other than to try and make them not like Wendy more than they already do. And it's just so like, ew. I don't like it. That's what I'm gonna say. If you have to do all of that just for some screen time, you can't have much about you. Even before this happened, the 2 seconds that we did see her where she said my dad was a rich bitch, I was like, okay, regardless, you know you just called your dad a bitch, right? Like that doesn't hit. Like I don't think that was giving what you thought it was gonna give. But either way, yeah, don't like the new girl. Don't fuck with her at all. And I know for a fact I'm gonna get aggravated when this group of women, because like I said, some African American women, but we can't act like these women don't fall into the category of those ignorant people. When they start to discuss this, I'm going to get annoyed, like throw my slippers at the TV annoyed. So yeah, can't wait for that. But anyway, good first episode, good start to the season. I'm intrigued to see what the rest of it's gonna give. Oh my god, I guess I'm feeling a bit better because my throat is not sore after all of that talking and shouting. But anyway, you guys, thank you for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Let me know what you thought of the show. Comment below and let me know what you thought of my review as well. And in the meantime, like the video, subscribe to my channel for more reviews. I will be doing reviews on Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine and Basketball Wives. I am one behind on Basketball Wives, so I'm going to do the last 2 episodes, 3 and 4, this week. So watch out for that. And yeah, in the meantime, bye!